What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Table That Discussion, part of Fantasy Alarm's TV live stream and news network, we could call it. It's probably building up a little bit more than we should, but nevertheless, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Howard Bender. I'm your host, and look at my panel of guests today. It's been a little while since we've done Table That Discussion, so it's great to see all these smiling faces here. Oh, there you go. Look, Adam Rodas literally almost cracked a smile. That was amazing right there. That was the best ever. Oh, look, he does have teeth. Ryan Hallam, Jen Piacenti, Justin Fensterman, and Adam Rodas. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today?
Hey,
doing awesome.
I got
it's a great day now that Ronas actually smiled. I'm not used to this.
Right? Look at that. Adam, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Things are all right.
Get any last night?
Last night? No. A couple days ago, yes.
There it is. See? Now we know why he's smiling. Fetsy, did you really just raise the roof?
Hell yeah, I did. I really Ronas here. Cash your tickets if you started Ronas 2 nights ago.
Oh, man, I can't believe it. I faded him a couple of nights ago, but I had him on the ticket last night. But welcome. Well, it's glad to see that everybody's doing well. Happy to be here with all of you. As always, it's a definite pleasure. If you see me looking over this way, it's because I got all their smiling faces on this screen. And sometimes I forget to look straight ahead. Why? Because look at how good looking you all are there. And look at that. Jen's in her Scott Fishbowl shirt. Ryan's in his Scott Fishbowl shirt. I'm in the SFB Podathon shirt. Fancy with the Fancy Sports. And then, of course, Adam Rodas, rock solid, repping Fantasy Alarm with the T-shirt. I can't see it from there, but, stand up, Adam.
Yes,
you are? Oh, there it is.
Nice.
All right.
No
Great to
agenda
have
here.
everybody
Can't stand up all the way, if you know why.
Wow, I didn't think I looked that good in this shirt.
Get him in your line.
Next on Tent Pictures, Adam Rodas describes his... Well, I'm glad that I've got you guys here. We got a great show planned for everybody out there. As always, you can follow us on we're on YouTube, Periscope, and of course Facebook as well. Give Fantasy Alarm a follow on all of those pages, and you get the live streams every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, and always a nice treat here. We've taken a couple of weeks off here because of the FSGA drafts, and then my schedule got all messed up. So good to have the crew back here, and let's get to it right off the bat here. We're living obviously in a ridiculously crazy time, and every single bit of news is all about this guy's got COVID, that guy's got COVID, this person's opting out, and so as we get closer to the MLB season starting up, the Disney bubble for NBA, and of course the NHL, it's a tough time, and there are a lot of tough decisions that a lot of players are making. So I'm going to put it to my panel here, based on everything that's in your life right now. If you were an NBA or an MLB or an NHL player, would you opt out with everything that's going on right now in the land of COVID? Adam, I'll start with you.
Hell no, I'd play. I mean, come on, man. I'm playing softball on Sunday this week. My season starts. I'm not getting paid for it. So you damn well, if I'm getting a paycheck, I'm playing, man. I love the competition, and I'm not even a professional athlete, so I can't imagine how I would feel. So there's no question that I would play. I just don't like to live my life in fear. You can be as cautious as possible, but I'm not going to be locked up inside my house the rest of my life. At some point, we have to move on. And look, if something happens and I get it, I'll deal with it. Hopefully, it's obviously not catastrophic. It's different for others, but I would play. There's no question about it. I mean, again, if I'm playing softball this week where I'm not getting paid and I don't even know if there's any limitations, I have no idea if I have to wear a mask. I don't know what the rules are, but I'm going to play. So if I'm doing that, you damn well, if I was a professional athlete, I'm playing.
All right. Well, the single life here for Adam Rodas. You're like the James Harden of Fantasy Alarm right now.
Why? You think? Why? If I had kids, you think I'd think differently? Is that why?
you might. Let's talk to the guy who's got kids and a little bit of the fever right now. I got Ryan Hallam here. Ryan, you've got 2 daughters. You've got a wife. Talk to me here. If you were an athlete right now, would you opt out?
I actually have an ex-wife with asthma as well that we co-parent with. So, I'd like to believe I would play. And of course, like you said, I'm feeling a little under the weather and getting tested myself tomorrow. But here's the point where I got a little worried about it. I think it was Damian Lillard, but it was one of the NBA guys who was like, oh, they have all these rules. You think everybody's going to follow them? And like, if you can't follow these rules for a month or 6 weeks where you just can't like stay away from each other, then no, I'm not putting my life on the line for 200 people I don't know about. If I'm financially safe, if I've made $100 million in my lifetime, nah, no thanks. I'll come back next year.
All right. Well, Fency, you don't have kids, but you do have the darling wife at home. Perhaps you guys are trying for a child. You always seem to say that you're a chalk play on a regular basis. So, Fency, would you put your chalk status on hold to go and play a little NBA action?
I am not only frequently a chalk play, but I'm a defensive player as well. You know this about me, Howard. I'm a Charles Oakley, Dennis Rodman type. But no, I have fear of missing out, which is more important to me when it comes to the game, besides me having a competition problem. And I'm sure she can use the break for me, so I'm doing her a favor as well. So I'm going to go and I'm going to play the sport, and I'm not going to opt out. Again, fear of missing out, competition problem. I don't need to go out. I'll just play ping pong for 2 months until my team wins the title.
Well, you can't play doubles, though.
No doubles, that's fine.
Doubles.
That's totally fine.
All right, so I've got 2 who are playing. I've got 1 who's ready to opt out. Jen Piacenti, what do you think? Let's put you in the wonderful world of the baseball universe, right? Because Disney's got the bubble, and who knows what's going on with all the Canadian farm boys playing hockey with each other. Baseball's your love. It's your passion. There's no spitting. There's no high-fiving. No charging the mound or anything like that. Is it worth it to you to risk the COVID in order to play the game?
Put me in, coach. I'm tired of sitting around in my home. I want to get on the field. Let's play. Like, I'm over this. Look, I'm young. I'm healthy. Again, I don't have children. I'm happy to isolate myself to get to do something I really love. This is the same to me as like theater. Sometimes I would go on tour. I'd go on tour for months, 6 weeks at a time. I wouldn't see family. I wouldn't see whoever I was with at the time, or any relationships. It's just part of the job. And I feel like it would be part of the job. I love it. It's my passion. If I'm a baseball player, I'm on the field, I'm going for it. As Adam said, you can't stay in your home forever. Now, I'm extremely healthy. I'm not in a high risk category. So this is an easier choice for me. And I respect everybody's decision. But for me, let's go.
Well, I mean, listen, I think the myth of healthy young 20-somethings not catching the COVID has long been disproved, especially by the long list of MLB players who are currently testing positive.
You can catch it, but if you look at the death rates, like, they've gone down a lot. So like, it is going around, but you can get it, and eventually, just like the flu, people are gonna get it. You have to get it. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get it.
No.
I mean, you probably just get it. So for me, I'm like, if it's now or later, or, if a vaccine comes first, fine. But I don't think that I don't have asthma. I don't, I'm not saying I don't feel like I'm gambling with my life to play baseball is what I'm saying. I would be very cautious with everyone around me. I would isolate myself. I would follow all the rules. But as far as a decision for myself, I don't have a lot of other people to think about.
Rick Piacenti would be so disappointed.
Rick Piacenti doesn't see me anyway. I don't even go home like once a year.
Yeah, but what would he troll on Twitter if you died from the COVID? He would just it'd be just memorial pictures of you at that point. That wouldn't be nearly as fun.
That's true.
That is true. Memorial pictures definitely not as funny as the other childhood picture. Come on. So all right. So you guys are all fine with it. Me and Ryan, I'm with you, Ryan. I don't have kids. And I'm like, I don't want to catch the COVID. I don't need that. I got a high risk wife, right? Who's got an immune compromised system. And listen, me, I got a touch of the asthma, and I got a huge case of the fats. So I am certainly not healthy by any stretch of the imagination. I know, Adam, you say that I'm going to live till I'm 90.
You are.
But not if I get the COVID.
You don't need to worry. You're immune. You're fine.
There was
Probably
that
already
one
has the
guy.
antibodies.
There was this one guy in the beginning that beat like the Spanish flu and COVID. That would be you, Howard.
Right. So I'm Bruce Willis and Unbreakable when it comes to the coronavirus. Is that what we're
just
saying?
Keep eating that barbecue food. You're fine.
Turns out Red Bull's the antidote.
Right. Wouldn't that be a hoot if you only knew? If you guys only knew. I haven't had Red Bull in I don't know how long. That I've been on this stupid diet. That I've actually lost weight. I know it doesn't show yet, but that's not. So I haven't gotten the exercise part. Into this whole routine. Really focused on the diet. But I don't want it. Man, I commend you guys for wanting to do it. I mean, look at Mike Trout. That's the one that really, I mean, this dude obviously has some crazy sense of obligation when it comes to Major League Baseball because I'm sorry, pregnant wife, your firstborn child, doing in the middle of all of this. I definitely don't know if I would want to put my wife or child at risk if, let's face it, we're talking about all of these rules and whatnot. Damian Lillard did say it best of, is everybody going to follow these? Think about it. Think about it. A baseball player is not going to spit. He's not thinking about it. It's muscle memory here. You're not going to have a pitcher lick his fingertips. He's not supposed to. But, I mean, again, it's instinct. It's what's happening there. So, it's definitely going to get worse, and it's gonna come home to people who aren't isolated in a bubble. I'm not saying
Jen, what if the Astros all bang the same garbage can with the same hand? Could just transmit that way.
Yeah, Jen.
I mean, how long? I mean,
come on, they're getting the pass with no people in the stands. They got to at least take a few jokes. And I don't really care about it. I'm waiting for the Yankees thing to come out where it comes out that the Yankees cheated too. When's that coming out? Because what happened? That was like a week or so ago.
Oh, Ryan, I think you're breaking up. You might have a bad connection. We might just have to go down to 3 panelists today. Unbelievable. Don't take the focus away from the Astros. And if you want to talk garbage cans, you can also include the Dallas Cowboys star that's sitting right behind her. Yeah.
I can take it, guys. You can dish it out. I can take it, and I can also dish it back out. So go right ahead. Your time will come.
Serve it on up.
Let's go.
All right. Well, so there you go. We got some brave souls who say no. They're not going to opt out. Me and Ryan. We'll take our jobs as chickens and happily stay.
You guys probably had sex with 3 condoms too, right?
No, they rub together and then they break.
Obviously.
That's how I got 2 kids.
I thought you're supposed to put 3 on just to with the sensitivity.
You guys gonna
think about that? That's a good idea.
You guys gonna stay home forever?
It's not staying home, man. It's getting in with 200 other people. It's not even close to staying home.
It's not 200 people.
You're gonna be, especially baseball.
So you guys are saying then that they shouldn't play sports?
No, I'm happy they are. Personally, I don't want to. I'm thrilled they are. I'm very happy.
But you're saying they shouldn't. If you're saying yourself you wouldn't play, and there's other players with wives and kids, you're basically saying we shouldn't have sports right now.
I think it's risky. I'm happy it's happening. Not only is it my job, but it's something I love. But if it would put me in that personal situation, I'd have a real hard time doing it. Yeah, I'm not dining in restaurants right now. I'm taking takeout and I'm taking home. I'll go to restaurants whenever.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just hardened up from years of this, but so a couple months they're without their families. I think it's something that people could choose to do. Just isolate yourself from your family for a couple months. I mean, they're already on the road half the time anyway. I mean, as I said, I've been on the road or had someone I was in a relationship with on the road for years at a time. And sometimes you just don't see each other for a long time. And you just that's part of your job and you understand that. And it's just a very short period of time. Life is long. So
it's not about being away from people for me. It's the health risk for me.
Right, but if your argument is that then you're going to transfer it to your kids and your wife, if you just stay away from your kids and your wife, you get all the tests, you make sure you don't have it at the end of the season or before you see them, then, I think it's doable. I don't think it's impossible for people with families. I don't think they're foolish if they decide to play.
How am I supposed to get chalk play if I stay away from my wife?
Well, here's the issue, though, because it's not just me going and playing. It's not just me worrying about my family. It's me worrying about everybody else as well. Not everybody's going to adhere to all the rules, And what you're going to end up seeing is so many of these people who are exposed to it are going to, because MLB's not quarantining and they've got all this travel that they're going to have to do, which, I'm sorry, but that's these people traveling through airports, through public places, and to me, what this is going to end up doing is going to end up spreading, much like what we saw when the KBO started up. Not everybody at the affiliated with the teams was fully quarantined, and it did start spreading out when people started to interact. I mean,
yeah, but you still are making the argument based on your family, because even if someone else gets it and gives it to you, then you could potentially give it to your family. I'm saying I don't really have a family. I have a family. It's not that I don't have a family.
Aw, Jen, you can't spell family without F-A. That's what we're all about.
I do. You're my family. I'm just saying that it would be easy for me to isolate myself. And I even think some people with a wife could choose like, hey, this is my job. This is how I make money. It's something I love. I'm just for a month or two, just like Justin said, I'm just going to give her the space for a month or two, and I'm going to go just do this, and I'll test everything before I come home. So yeah, maybe other people might give it to Justin, but Justin's still going to be careful not to give it to his wife. There's a way that he can prevent that. So, I mean, I think it's everybody's personal choice. I have no judgments for anybody on what they choose, but I would play.
All right, you look out for you. I'm going to look out for the rest of mankind. There you go. I'm here
all
for
I heard
everybody
there
else.
All I heard there is about Justin giving it to his wife.
Listen, I mean, it's saying, I'm just thinking a month or two. Man, I'm starting to rethink my decision. I don't know if I can handle that. I'd have smoke coming out of my ears.
Well, Adam Ronis he's opening up a strip club in the Disney bubble anyway. So
yeah,
then people leave.
What?
Then people won't leave.
Exactly. That's why I think it's happening. They just obviously can't put it in the release. They can't make it public, but they have to have a strip club there, So it's genius idea, and that's what I would do. And if I was a player, then there you go.
So guys, maybe if we can't get me a press pass, just kidding.
Just get you a job stripping at the Disney bubble?
Obviously joking. I have no skills.
I'm worried about one of my co-hosts playing softball this weekend and then taking off the next month of shows. So that's already what I'm thinking of ever since Ronas told me that softball is starting up again.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, I'm going to go out there and have fun and play. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm going to be as cautious as possible. The only thing is obviously throwing the softball, because I'm not wearing a glove on my hand throwing a ball because you can't get a good grip. But when I'm at the plate, I'm wearing gloves. I'll have some sanitizer, and that's it,
I've been playing tennis.
What?
I've been playing tennis.
Well, that's probably better, right? It's only one-on-one.
Like you still hold the ball machine or whatever. I mean, I still use a lot of hand sanitizer, but yeah.
Yeah, look, I want to get on with things and play, and if the city is allowing it, I'm going to play. It's only a 6-week regular season and playoffs. I'm dying to get out there. This is the longest of my life that I've gone without playing. It's almost a full year. So I just want to play. And I'm just hoping everything goes smoothly, and I'll be out there on Sunday morning.
All right. Well, we're wishing all of you the best of health. Just be smart, stay safe. That's all we ask, because, the rest of us don't need to pick up the extra slack here on Fantasy Alarm.
You do realize that Adam and I
working
have
hard enough as it is, guys.
With, right? You guys at least have people to hang out with at home, things to do. We're literally sitting. I'm probably just FaceTiming Adam on my spare. We have nothing to do.
I've been hanging out with people the last couple of weeks. I've given up.
All right, I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
All right, Jen, maybe you should try an escort service then, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to make a Jeffrey Epstein joke.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
This has been bad enough already.
Oh, all right. We are immediately tabling this discussion right now. That's it. We are done with this.
I know you're on the other side of the coast, but you're more than welcome to come hang out.
Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome. We can talk Cowboys.
Yeah. We'll stay 6 feet apart. We'll wear masks.
Don't even have to talk.
We have our auction draft coming up, so
we do.
We can draft.
Oh yeah. You can.
Yeah, Cause is trying to get me to do the best ball, but I'm afraid
strategy.
they'll just be looking at my strategies there. I'm not sure I want to do that.
Yeah, don't.
Adam, are you looking at her strategies?
Yes, I am. I already know her strategies.
Oh, do
Whoa.
you?
Yeah.
Do you? Wow. We're going to continue to table that discussion. We're going to move along. Now, later on today on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, we're Fensty, look at you.
I just can't take this seriously. I don't know if this is flirting. I don't know if this is just for show. I'm trying to figure this out here, and I'm trying to not make a stupid comment that would make this whole thing awkward. So
You want to get all awkward if you're merging your co-host? Is that what you're saying?
I get what you're saying there.
Did you see what I did there?
I see what you did.
All
Merch.
right. Coming up later on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, Jim Bowden and I, along with the help of Lisa Ann, are going to be doing the Diamond Awards for the Fantasy Football Sleeper of the Decade. We went through a number of different players, whittled down a list to the top 20, then we got it down to the top 10, which we will present to you later on. Well, I've asked everybody out on Twitter. I'm asking this my esteemed panel right now. Let's talk about your best fantasy football sleeper of the last decade. So I'll just start with Jen because I'm just going to start with Jen.
Ladies first. I'm going to go with James Conner, who got a real breakout whenever he got to go in for Le'Veon Bell. He didn't have a, fancy rookie season, but then the next year, because Le'Veon Bell held out, he ended up finishing like top 12. So to me, that's a good answer for a sleeper, because at the time he was a sleeper. I'm not talking about for this year, but then, and I think it's a good lesson that we should always remember that there's a lot of value late, and that you should probably get those late round running backs, because you never know when one of them could just pop off like that.
Yeah, and I'll say this, because we talked about James Conner, and one of the things for me is why he didn't make the top 10. I don't want to, reveal anything, but he didn't, because when James Conner was drafted, he was drafted as a handcuff. Le'Veon Bell was threatening the holdout at that point. Was still going in drafts fairly early, first, second round, dropped down to about the third or fourth round. But anybody who took him kind of took James Conner. So it wasn't like Conner was, we were looking at Conner as anything but a guy who was going to eventually be able to take over for Le'Veon if something happens to Le'Veon Bell. So that was just one of the things. But I mean, he definitely. That rookie campaign, or not the rookie campaign, but that campaign where Le'Veon Bell held out a couple of years ago, absolutely phenomenal for James Conner. Fensty, how about you? Sleeper of the decade.
So do you guys think Larry Fitzgerald would count for this past decade?
Probably not as a sleeper. He's been around longer than a decade.
I understand that, but he was still around the entire decade. Would that he count? If not, I have another guy.
Am I wrong? I thought the question is basically you're looking at one season where a player was.
Yeah, we're looking at one season of a player, Fensty.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I totally missed this. I thought it was just a sleeper of a decade, like taking the decade as a whole.
Oh, no. You guys, I mean, how many guys are playing the full 10 years?
I was going to say Larry Fitzgerald is
He's the only one.
He's been around since 2004, and I was going to say kind of an afterthought, but still put together last year, 75 receptions for over 800 yards. I mean, I'll take that. And even thinking that it was for the entire decade, this decade, and remember, he's been around since 2004. This decade, he had 5 seasons of over 1,000 yards, which I thought was pretty cool. He's been around forever. Mid-30s last few years, was still getting over 1,000 yards a couple of years ago.
It's an interesting interpretation. I'm going to rule against it, Fensty. I'm going to give you another shot. I'm going to go to the other panelists here, and maybe you can rethink it or look something up or whatnot. Let me go to Ryan here. Ryan, who do you got?
I think an easy one. You don't have to go back very far. I'll go back just 1 year to Lamar Jackson. Clearly wasn't being drafted as a quarterback one, and turned out to be the MVP and the MVP of fantasy and the NFL. So I think Lamar Jackson certainly has to be in your top 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, that season last year was ridiculous. 1,200 rushing yards, 36 passing touchdowns, over 3,000 passing yards. And yeah, you're right. He was kind of an afterthought in drafts, or not so much an afterthought, but constantly criticized for not being a strong passer. Adam, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think another quarterback that's easy is Patrick Mahomes 2 years ago. I mean, he was taken as a QB2, a backup in almost every league, and he won championships. So it's like 2 years in a row. But if you want me to go somewhere different, because I think those quarterbacks are kind of so obvious, I'll go with Odell Beckham in his rookie year. He missed like the first few games of the year, I believe, and he was drafted in the double-digit rounds. And he had 91 catches, 1,305 yards, and 12 touchdowns. One of the best values we've seen in a while.
Yeah, listen, I'll definitely go with that. Not to mention, I mean, that whole 2014 rookie class was unbelievable as it was, and Odell Beckham wasn't even the featured guy. I think it was, I mean, that one-handed grab that he made in that one game that really kind of put him, on the map there for that. So yeah, I love that call there. 2014 Odell Beckham, 2019 Lamar Jackson, and then I think it was 2018 James Conner.
Yeah, but did Alvin Kamara make your list?
That was my other one.
Alvin Kamara was definitely one that I was looking at in 2017. He was supposed to.
Yeah, that was funny is that people were drafting Adrian Peterson ahead of him. I remember I did a draft and I took Kamara from like round 8. It kind of just had to wait it out. It was Peterson and Ingram, and then they just unleashed Kamara in the middle of the year, and he just went crazy. I think he had 13 total touchdowns that year, and he had the 81.
Yeah,
he had 13 total touchdowns that year. He had over 700 receiving yards. He had over 500 or 700 rushing yards, over 500 receiving yards as well.
Yeah.
81 receptions. I think we all know it's 81 receptions for him. Yeah, that was a phenomenal year for Kamara. Absolutely. During the show, we're looking back at some names from even beyond. Again, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to steal the show's thunder, but there's some from like 2010, 2011 we're talking about that kind of get lost in the shuffle and a little bit forgotten. Justin, did you come up with anybody?
Yes,
it's not Larry Fitzgerald again, is it?
It is not. It is not. I do remember what I said. I'm going to go to Antonio Brown from 2013, and this was a great advance here, and I'm going to tell you why this guy comes to mind immediately. Besides the fact that he went from in 2012 66 receptions to 110. 787 yards to nearly 1,500 the following year. I remember going into 2014 drafts, I felt like I had this guy pegged. And for some reason, in one of my auctions, I got him for $32 in 2014. Maybe the best value of my entire career on a single player. I was shocked that he wasn't going where we'd see Michael Thomas or close to it. But getting him for $32 after that kind of 2013 season was an amazing value.
Yeah, definitely amazing. I mean, listen, once Mike Wallace left, I think that's, obviously tipped the scales towards Antonio Brown. I love that call, definitely. As crazy as he is right now. Does anybody, let me ask you guys, because we're going to talk about, I'm going to check in with all of you. You're all in the Scott Fish Bowl. So we're going to check in on all of your teams as far as that goes. Would you draft Antonio Brown this year? I mean, we don't know. I'll put these parameters out there. We don't know if they're going to shorten the season at all. We don't know what his potential suspension is going to be. So is there concern that maybe they only played 10 games this season and he's suspended for 4 of them? Is there any kind of concern? Ryan, would you draft Antonio Brown?
I'm in one of those fishbowl eliminators, and I did take Antonio Brown. This one where the person with the least points gets eliminated each week. I took a shot on him there. I guess it would depend on my roster and how good I felt about the rest of it. I kind of feel like it's a long shot. We're getting a little bit closer. I think someone would kind of at least bring him in, or there'd be something more than him catching passes from Dwayne Haskins at this point. There's rumbles about Seattle. I really think it's going to be a hard road for him back. I could be wrong. Maybe he gets a shot, but man, he really burned a lot of bridges there in that 1 year. I think it's going to be tough for him to find a home.
Adam?
Yeah, I would for sure. I mean, you're talking double-digit rounds where a lot of those guys are going to bust anyway. That guy can win you your league. We have no doubt that he can play. There definitely is some risk there. I know Lisa Ann and I were talking about this. She said that he's got to get through this court case first, and apparently it keeps getting delayed because the woman is afraid to go to court because of COVID-19. So she said that needs to happen first before the NFL can have the hearing. So I'm not sure about that. I don't know how that works, but we obviously know he's worked out with different quarterbacks. But I would take the chance. Double-digit rounds for sure. I mean, he's going in the high-stakes leagues right now, and a lot of the drafts that I've seen, he's starting to move up. I mean, he's going 10, 11, 12. So people are obviously swinging for the fences there with big money on the line.
Yeah, in the FSGA drafts that we saw him go as high as the 10th round to some of the people. Jen, how about you? Would you do it?
I would if it were late enough and if the value were there, I would, because like Adam said, a lot of those guys are going to bust anyway. So, I mean, spend on a rookie or maybe Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown has a lot more upside. And with those picks that it's a gamble anyway. It's a lotto ticket, right? So that's a pretty good lotto ticket to buy. I wouldn't take him as early as the 10th round. That's still a little too early for me, but 13, 14, 15, sure. I mean, the latest rumor is maybe he's going to Houston. I mean, wouldn't you love to see Deshaun Watson throwing to Antonio Brown? I mean, there's a lot of upside there if it's possible. So I would if it was late enough, but I'm certainly not targeting him.
All right. Fensty.
Not an active target, but especially in leagues where I have a bigger bench, more likely to do it. If I'm in an auction, let's just say I've got 4 or 5 on the bench, maybe I spend $1 on them and that's it, but I'm not wasting my $5 max, which is which is a lot of pressure to do all of a sudden late in your auction. So it's a very precious spot to be in. I won't waste the 5, but hey, as we said on Fantasy Alarm not so long ago, Howard, I'd buy that for $1.
I would buy that for $1. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I didn't take Antonio Brown in my Scott Fishbowl draft. I'm trying to remember. There was the guy next to me who took him. The 15th round is where he came off the board. Now I know none of you guys know what the 15th round looks like in your Scott Fishbowl draft, but hey, you know what? You guys all can't be in the Clue division, can you? Because we know how to draft with good speed. We're wrapping up round 21.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. It's delicious, right? Absolutely delicious. I get all braggadocious about my team, but before we do that, let me check in with all you guys, right? All you sad sacks sitting in what? Let's figure it out. What round is everybody in right now? Jen, you're in the 10th for Ryan. Jen?
Yeah.
7th.
7th. Fensty?
We're just starting the 10th.
Just starting the 10th. And Adam?
13, and we would have been further along if we didn't have Matt Deutsch in our league.
Dude, how many times does that dude time out?
He didn't time out. He was on the clock last night, probably around 8, 9 o'clock, and didn't make a pick till this morning, and we had to wait for him again. I mean, I've already made 2 picks today, and my 3rd pick for the day is 2 picks away. So if he didn't hold us up, we might be, several rounds ahead.
Wow, yeah. Being in a slow draft with Matt Deutsch is probably one of the more painful things known to mankind. For those of you who don't know, Matt Deutsch is the program director for SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. I commission a couple of leagues, dynasty leagues, that he is a part of, and he is king of milking the clock. And the overnight, and he's happy. He's just... And it's unbelievable. And then he is also the king of when he times out and it auto picks, he's like immediately on the phone. He's like, oh, man, time out. I can't believe it. I just need to do it. Howard, can you do me a favor? Could you please make that change for me? It's unbelievable. So,
Do you
yes.
make the change?
No, I don't make the change.
Okay.
But I feel for you, Adam. How'd you end up in the division with Matt Deutsch?
Because I guess I chose a popular one, and I probably should have thought about this and went with a different one. Oh my God, I was sniped. Derek Van Riper.
Oh, what happened?
I wanted Anthony Miller. He was
And he probably took him like this. I'm Derek Van Riper. I select Anthony Miller.
Yeah, no, actually, so my division, you got 3 people from The Athletic. Brad Ziegler, the former MLB player, Derek Van Riper, Michael Beller, got Dave Caban from RotoViz, Truck, who is someone, he's a fan, but I played with him in the high stakes leagues out in Vegas. So I know several people in this league. And of course, Matt Deutsch, who brags about his 2nd round pick of Leonard Fournette. emailed me twice about it. I'm not impressed. But yeah, I mean, this draft is moving pretty smoothly, I gotta say.
What division is this?
Wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball division. Nice. Nice. All right, Fensty. Let's hear the well, actually, wait. So give me your best, your favorite player so far on your team, Adam.
For the value or
Well, just players that you could go with the value if you want. However you want to do it. Line it up how you like.
I like getting Adam Thielen as wide receiver 16. I mean, I think this guy's going to get 150 targets this year. Last year, he was hurt, had the hamstring injury. He came back, and the playoffs was good. So there's volume there for him. There's not much competition. I know they're a team that doesn't have a high volume in the passing game, but it doesn't matter because a lot of those targets are going to Thielen. We've seen him have 150 target seasons before. So to get Adam Thielen as wide receiver 16, I thought was a nice value.
Nice. What pick do you have? What pick number?
5.
5. Okay. Fensty, I'll go to you. Where are you at again? You're in round...
I'm in round 10. We just started it. I had the 3rd overall pick, and I was so excited when I got Saquon Barkley. I didn't think normally, and I've talked about this, I don't have much luck when it comes to where I end up in drafts. For some reason, God doesn't let me have the first pick ever, but that's okay because I got the 3rd.
There is no God, Fensty.
Understand, and if there was, he wouldn't give me the first pick. So I have
draft orders if there is.
Right. Lamar Jackson goes number 2. So I was very, very happy with Saquon Barkley. I have never owned Saquon Barkley in fantasy before, and thinking it's going to be not only a strong year, but what I did rounds later was get Daniel Jones. So despite the fact, and Adam, we talked about this, starts off with a really tough schedule. Incompletions are negatives when it comes to the scoring. I do double down a little bit, though, because I'm going to get some tosses to Saquon, get double the points.
I like it. Jen?
Well, I really like my team. I guess my favorite pick is maybe DeAndre Hopkins in the 3rd round. And I stacked him with Kyler Murray. So I thought that was a lot of fun, hoping to get some value there. I got Darren Waller. I got Big Ben. I got Devontae Parker in the 7th round. I started with Zeke. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my team. So we'll see. I mean, I wish I had more. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my team.
Okay, that's good. Well, it's better than not being happy with your team.
Yeah.
Now, you're in the Care Bear division. Adam's Wiffle Ball. Fensty, what are you?
RC Cars division.
RC Cars division. Was that something that you picked, or did you just get assigned?
No, I picked that division, but mainly because former NBA player Shane Battier was in that division, and I saw open spots during the preferences. I originally wanted to be in the Wiffle Ball division with Adam Ronis and Matt Deutsch. I guess I'm glad I'm not in that division, though. Instead, I'm with Shane Battier, picking right in front of him, actually.
So the jock sniffers division is what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, except, you know what? Oh, at every pick he makes, everyone's like, "Oh, Shane, that was great value. It was tremendous." And I'm pretty much sitting there like, "Come on, like just treat this guy like a normal dude. You don't have to compliment him on A, how he picks within 10 minutes, and B, every single pick. Oh, Shane, great value right there. Patrick Mahomes, 4th overall. My God, Shane."
This is how ironic is this? He actually went out of his way to be in his division, and now he's mad that people are showering him with praise. I mean,
right. I'm a professional, Adam. You know that.
Yeah, right.
Welcome to the ball lickers division there. Okay. No problem. Ryan Hallam, how about you?
I'm in Garbage Pail Kids. I was happy. I got Travis Kelce 10th
Yes,
overall
you are.
to start. I got Devontae Parker. Also, I got him in the 8th, and I just took Darius Slayton in the 10th, which I'm a fan of. So those are some of the guys I like on my team.
Very nice, very nice. Any celebrities whose balls you can lick in the in your division?
Unfortunately, I haven't unveiled any balls to lick as of yet, but we're only halfway through. I'm looking. I'm in the the chat, and I'm trying to play, but I'm not as smooth as Adam Ronis, so I don't get that opportunity.
That pick broke my heart, man. I gotta say, this is the first time in this draft where I'm just like,
"Aw."
Yeah, I guess I should have taken him in the previous round. I thought he would have made it back, but that sucks.
I've read my draft room incorrectly through most of this draft. I have to admit, when I thought I could wait, I didn't, and I was wrong. When I thought I could take a guy or couldn't wait another round, I could have. Everything hasn't exactly gone to plan for me so far.
Did quarterbacks just go like off the board like crazy for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
The first one, yes, but second one, no. After the first 3 rounds, it really very much fewer have gone after the third round. The first 3 rounds were pretty full.
For me, there was 14 quarterbacks through round 4 that went, and then after round 5, 21.
Okay. I had in mind in the first 4 rounds, 12 quarterbacks came off the board. By the end of the 7th round, there were 28 QBs off the board. It was crazy. 7 quarterbacks off the board in round 6 alone. Like, how do you guys like how do you handle stuff like that? Based on where you are in the draft, Fancy, you're at 3. I'm at 2. Adam, you're at 5.
I'm at 4.
You're at 4. Hallam, where are you?
10.
You're at 10. So you're over on the other side there. How are you guys dealing with trying? Well, Ryan, you already said that you've been horrible about reading the room. How are you guys doing, like handling some of the runs?
Yeah, I mean, I always in these super flex drafts, I kind of try and read the room, and I'm usually one that will wait on the quarterback. I've played in a super flex league pretty much every year the last few years, and have done pretty well waiting on the quarterback. So in this one, I didn't take my first quarterback till round 4. There were already 12 off the board. And then I came back in round 5 and took another one, and turned out to be the right decision, because then there were about 5 quarterbacks who went through for my next pick. Although one of the undervalued quarterbacks in this format, I was surprised how long he lasted. When I look back, I go, well, maybe I could have waited. But again, that's after seeing the results. So I thought I played it out right. I got QB 13 and QB 17 in rounds 4 and 5. And I did something similar last year. I went back to back with my quarterbacks, and it was Jameis Winston and Lamar Jackson last year. So, obviously it worked out. But you kind of just have to read the room, because everyone comes up and asks these questions. Oh, I'm in a 2 quarterback league. I'm in a super flex league. When do I take my quarterbacks? There's no definitive answer. I mean, if you want to take your quarterback in the first round and get one, you can. I don't like to do that. I know some people do, but I think you kind of just have to read the draft. Obviously, it's harder on the end. So like the team who picked 12 in this one, he double tapped at round 3 and 4. He took Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones. The other team on the other end who won at number 1 took Kyler Murray in round 3, didn't get a second quarterback till round 6. It was Teddy Bridgewater at QB 2-3. So you see how it is on the ends. So on the opposite ends, you kind of have to be a little bit more aggressive and make your stance. I think when you're in the middle, you can read the room a little bit more and kind of play off what's going on.
Yeah, I ran into a similar situation. I took my first QB at round 5. I did 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers for my first few picks, and then I said, okay, well, I got sniped by the guy in front of me who took Daniel Jones. So I came around in round 5. He took him with the last pick of round 4. I was debating whether or not I take Allen Robinson or my quarterback. It was Daniel Jones, and I said, you know what? That the guy who's picking behind me, he's already got Kyler Murray, so maybe I can just I'll take Allen Robinson here and then get Daniel Jones on the way back. I lost out on him. I took Baker Mayfield. And then round 5 went, and I saw another 4 quarterbacks off the board in round 5, and then boom, 6 more off in round 6. I felt lucky to get Big Ben as my second QB. But then the question was do I take a third right here, right now in round 7, or do I take the risk of losing out on a tight end? I went with the tight end instead, and then all of a sudden the next thing I saw was 4 more QBs off the board. And it just got to like really slim pickings. My third quarterback, I took the tandem of Foles and Trubisky, and handcuffed them together for that. So yeah, reading the room has been tough. Fancy, you're nodding your head. How do you handle quarterbacks? Where round did you take your first QB?
I actually went quarterbacks in rounds 5 and 6. I got Daniel Jones with the thought process, like I mentioned before, getting Saquon, doubling down there. And then I was trying to say to myself, would I get Big Ben? Will he make it all the way back to me? And instead, he gets to the pick before. And what do you know? Shane Battier grabs him right.
That was great value, Shane. Great
Right.
value.
Oh, amazing. Big Ben Shade. Excellent. He got him before me. So what I did was, because I was in the midst of a bit of a QB run. So with that, I took Joe Burrow. And that's going to be I'm very, very intrigued and interested to see how this guy does. Doesn't mean I necessarily have to start him in the super flex, but seeing how many quarterbacks went off and the crap that was left, I went Joe Burrow. How I read the room was in the third round, after noticing that someone in my league double tapped tight end in the first 2 rounds with Kelsey and Kittle. I decided when it came to me in that second round, or in that third round rather, I went Mark Andrews, which is something I haven't done yet. So I went Mark Andrews early, and knowing that I was going to go and spend up a little bit more on tight end, when it came to the quarterback, I was willing to lay off for a few more rounds like I did.
Okay. All right. Jen, where did you take your QB?
I took my first QB in round 2, which is the earliest I've ever taken a quarterback. But I felt like the way the room was going, there was going to be a big drop off if I waited. So I went ahead and took Kyler Murray there, and then I came back around and I saw DeAndre Hopkins was still available, and I kind of was aiming for the stack. So I went ahead and did those 2, and I didn't want to take Hop first because I wasn't sure that Murray would come back to me. So I took Murray, and then I waited, and then my next QB I took in round 6, and it was Big Ben. I was actually aiming for Ryan Tannehill, and in round 5 I really debated what to do, and I decided to go with Waller and thought Tannehill would make it back to me. And he didn't. So, but I knew Ben was still on the board, and I was hopeful. So anyway, I ended up with Ben. I'm not unhappy with that. And yeah, I decided to get that tight end to that position. I got Chris Carson in the 4th and Zeke in the 1st. So I had the option to start with Lamar Jackson at pick 4, and I decided not to.
Okay. I mean, listen, I probably wouldn't have done it either. I, waited on QBs as well. Ryan, when did you take yours?
I took my first one at 3. There was already a bunch off the board at that point. Like I said, the first 3 rounds for us was very quarterback heavy. By the end of the first 3 rounds, everyone but one person had a quarterback. So over the next couple of rounds, it slowed down a little, and I got to round 6, and I was like, I really wanted my second one at that point. I felt like more were going. So I took my second one in the 6th, and I definitely could have waited because it went pretty dry after that for a couple of rounds. So that was one place where I kicked myself, where I could have taken a better wide receiver in the 6th before my second quarterback and really waited. But again, not everything has exactly gone the way I'd hoped.
Well, listen, it's very interesting because, in a tight end premium league, I expect to see the tight ends flying off the board. In my draft, at least, it was quarterbacks who did. Tight end 6 was Evan Engram, and he didn't come off the board until midway through the 6th round. So I thought that was a very interesting aspect to see that. I mean, did tight ends? I mean, obviously, let's forget about, Kelsey, Kittle, Ertz, Andrews. We know that those guys all end up in those first 3 or 4 rounds. Did tight ends kind of get elevated in anybody's draft at all?
Engram he was the 6th one off the board in the 7th round in my drafts. Between 7 and 10 is where they're all coming off now. It was very tight end light in mine in the beginning.
Jen, how about you?
Yeah,
tight
it's
ends?
not. I was able to get Waller in the 5th, and now Higbee's still there, and so is Henry. So, no, they're not going actually that early. Obviously, Kelsey Kittle.
Right. Yeah. Adam?
Yeah, they did not go heavy at all on mine. Only 6 went in the first 7 rounds. I did take Mark Andrews in round 3, and I think it's because it really only helps the top tight ends as far as putting them elevated. So I think people got it right. The other and wide receivers were pretty devalued in my league, which I think was also correct. Only 9 receivers in the first 5 rounds.
Right.
So I think people kind of read the rules and figured out and see that that was the right way to go, because I was hoping that they would overvalue the tight ends more. But I did start a second tight end run. I took TJ Hockenson as my second tight end, and then a bunch of tight ends went. So it's nice to start a run.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I did that as well. In round 9, I took Gesicki, and then 3 out of the next 4 picks were tight ends. So I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Well, everybody happy with their team right now? Well, Adam, if you didn't take Anthony Miller, who'd you take?
I took CeeDee Lamb in round 13 as the wide receiver 50. But I really wanted Anthony Miller, who I'm higher on than most, and I probably should have taken him in round 12 and then come back with a different running back. But, that's hindsight now, and it's good to do these drafts early to kind of figure things out. to get ready for the big drafts. But yeah, I mean, I like my team. I went Zeke and Miles Sanders to start because I feel like the 3-down running backs are more valuable in this format and they dry up quickly. Like it's different. Like, you know, in a PPR league, you can get away with, you know, the Tariq Cohens and the guys like that. I don't like them as much in this format because the first downs matter, the receptions are not as heavy. So I started Zeke Sanders, then went Andrews and Stafford Burrow because I felt like then I'm going to hammer receivers and did with Thielen, Woods, Hilton, and Marvin Jones. So I'm pretty happy with the team so far.
Nice. Very, very nice. All right. Well, wishing you guys all the best of luck in your Scott Fishbowl drafts. First one
Matt
done.
Deutsch made a quick pick. Holy crap.
No way. Come on.
He's watching the stream.
I think so.
I'll show them. All right. Well, all right. So I wanted to make sure here for our last topic of discussion. I didn't want to lose this one here because I know that everybody prepared for it. We've been joking constantly here on these shows about the Amazon wish list, and Adam Ronis serving as Jen Piacenti's agent, so to speak, and coaching her. He's her life coach, teaching her how to build an Amazon wish list,
Yes.
so that she can get the creepers on Twitter to start buying her stuff.
Yeah,
So I asked everybody,
business in the works too.
what's in the works?
We have another business in the works too.
Oh, is that required? Was that her stripping at the Disney bubble?
No, I'm not gonna force that upon her.
You're not gonna human traffic Jen
No,
Piacenti?
I'm
Thank you.
not into that. I'm not into that. We're gonna make money some other ways.
We appreciate that. All right. Well, what I asked of is I want everybody to name 3 items they would put on their Amazon wish list. And then after everybody names their 3, we're going to go back around the room again, because then you're going to name one thing that you would actually buy for your coworkers. So we'll start it off here. Well, I don't know. Fensty, we'll go with you. Fensty, what's on your Amazon wish list?
And confirmed all 3 of these things are on Amazon. I triple checked. Number 1, a Michael Jordan rookie card or autograph. I'll take either one for my first one.
Okay.
And yes, they are there, and you're going to be spending a lot of money, but I'm worth it, as you all know.
Of course, of course.
Number 2, you guys know that I'm a big fan of Frisbee golf, also known as disc golf, and I would love to be able to practice so I could get better. A disc golf metal basket, which ranges from about $150 to $250, depending on the quality. So I would love that in my backyard. So that would be good right there, guys. I would love that. So please take notes. Number 3, I love hot tubs. So I'd love a hot tub for my backyard as well.
There you go. Now you're looking. Now you're thinking at a higher level here.
Yes. Yes. So I think all 3 of those things are very attainable by all of you. So feel free. You'll get a nice thank you note from me.
All right.
The thank you note.
The thank you note, a fancy thank you note. That's worth more than just its weight in gold. Adam Ronis, what's on your wish list?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things I want aren't even on there. That's the thing. It's limited to Amazon. I mean, I really want trips around, to like Italy and stuff like that, but that's not on there. Like Cowboys tickets, that's not on there. So that's a lot of the stuff I want. There's not a lot of material things I want on there, but I guess I would say a TV, maybe a tablet, and some sex toys.
Some sex toys. And some sex toys.
Yeah.
All
Which
right.
ones?
I mean, I'm not going to get specific here.
Trapeze.
Well, yeah, we're gonna buy them for you. How are we supposed to know?
Seriously.
You just kind of talk to me, and I'll steer you in the right direction.
Does any of them look like this?
No,
No, are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Just checking.
Vibrating, not vibrating. What do we have to narrow it down a little bit more.
Is it ribbed for everyone's pleasure?
These are important questions, Adam.
Seriously,
All right,
Adam?
talk if you choose
And
to
does
buy
size
both
matter?
paths, we can discuss them.
Oh, okay. So just like, back in the 80s when you wanted to go rent a porno and you had to go in like the back room and stuff like that, if you want more details on Adam Ronis's sex toy desires, you have to like go through the beads, and sit in a small room that has kind of a weird, funky smell to it. But a whole lot of other videos. All right, Ryan.
Whew, man, how do I follow that? My first one was along Fenste's line. Not that a hot tub. I actually have one of those. I want one of like those inflatable pools. The ones that, it's not forever. You just kind of put it up during the summer because it gets hot and humid here in New York. Also, my phone like freezes all the time right now, so I'm going to go with iPhone 11 to get the latest there. And then I was actually
one. That's what I want to put on my list. I need a phone. I totally forgot. Good one, Ryan. Like it.
And then my last one, I did poke around Amazon trying to find something funny. So I found a T-shirt that said, "Looking at my wife, and I think, damn, she's a lucky woman." So we'll throw that. That's a phone, a pool, and that T-shirt.
A phone, a pool, and that T-shirt. All right. Pressure is on Jen Piacenti.
Please
Not
don't say
only
sex
do you
toys.
get to go last here with
say
your Amazon wish list, but then you're also going to go first saying what you're going to buy.
Yeah, okay. Well, much like Adam, like a lot of the stuff I want isn't really on Amazon. So I went with things that actually are on Amazon. And number one is, and this is a very, very sexy pick, I'm sure, I really want a Dyson vacuum cleaner. I want one that goes like, it turns any way, like it doesn't matter, it's tiny, it's quiet, it gets everything. Cause like there's a lot of blonde hair all over my floor, like things like this. I really want a really good vacuum cleaner. Never had one.
If you find one, let me know, because I actually need one too. Now, you guys are making my list because I'm not even thinking.
Yeah.
I need a vacuum cleaner.
They're like $400, but I think they're probably worth it.
How much are they?
They're like $400.
Expensive.
All right, so when we do your wish list, we'll
Okay.
put that you need two. So you get one and I get one.
I'll get perfect.
All right.
That's his commission.
Done and done. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is I want like a Cuisinart coffee maker that does like espresso, hot water, single serving, all that. I want to have like the coffee service because if I'm going to be in quarantine, I want to be able to make myself custom drinks and all that kind of stuff because what else is there to do? And number three is I want a cool new gym bag where I can put my shoes like straight in and they stay there. Because eventually I will be working out outside and maybe going back to the gym again. I just think it's more fun to go to the gym if you have a cute outfit. And I want to always be wearing like cute gym clothes and have a cute gym bag. So those are the three things I want.
Is that because you want like a lot of guys looking at you?
Well, I mean, isn't that how we get more things from the Amazon wish list? It's like,
That's right.
it's
See,
investing back in the business.
She's
business.
learning.
Like it, Jen. You're thinking now.
Yeah.
I
We
was totally expecting Columbo DVDs.
It's a
to be
write-off
on
that way,
list
right? So makes sense. Okay, so I like that you guys had. Wait, Howard, what about yours?
I have everything I need right here.
It's all
Well-
food. It's all food.
Here's the thing, guys. You guys put what you wanted on your wish list, but I'm that person that like, I'm going to get you what I want to get you, whether you want it or not. So I came up with what I'm going to get you, whether it's on your wish list or not. Fensty, you probably already have a George Foreman grill. So I won't get you that, but I think you would love it. I'm going to get you a Ninja blender because I think you would love to have a Ninja for all your smoothies, right? I mean, because you're the master of smoothies. So you're getting a Ninja blender from me. Okay, Ryan Hallam,
Uh-oh.
you're getting, this is actually on Amazon, a serial killer coloring book. They have them. They're for adults because you have an obsession with serial killers. I don't know why. They have these adult coloring books. You can actually color in Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, whatever you want.
This was my book if we had gotten to it. Helter Skelter was the last book I read.
See? You think I don't know you. I know you people. This is what quarantine has done. Howard, I'm getting you a fish apron that has the donut logo because I know you're cooking for yourself and you want to be healthy. So this way you can kind of be like sporting your band and cooking at the same time. And you do, by the way, I can tell that you have been on a diet. Your face is looking slim.
Stop it.
And Adam,
I must have a different camera because I don't see that.
we'll get you a new computer too, Adam.
All right.
I'll put that on my list. Okay, Adam, I found this really awesome thing for you. It's called the Rocketbook Smart Reusable Notebook. And this is how it works. It's a planner because I know that you're busy. You've got radio shows, you've got dates. But the best part is it comes with a microfiber towel. So once you write in the date or the name or the time, you just erase it. No one has to know.
Ah, yeah.
Reusable. date book. Keeps you organized and keeps you anonymous.
So then this
You're
way,
welcome.
the girl's like, where were you on
If they-
Friday? When I called you and didn't pick up.
You can leave all the other things, but you can just wipe off that part. That's right. I've got your back. Thinking of for you.
Thanks.
Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a tough act to follow here. Ryan, if you're buying somebody something off their wish list, what are you doing?
I ain't gotta buy Ronas the sex toys. No, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not helping the guy out. It's a slam dunk. It's not even a second choice. I mean, it's just one guy looking out for another.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Fensty?
Man, Ryan, you sniped me on that one.
Right, right. We all want to buy Rona's sex
Here's why,
toys.
because I
I'm
want
buying him a vacuum.
I just
Yeah,
want.
I'm gonna get a-
What kind of sex toys do you want? You
There's going
said
to be a lot of fleshlights in my house.
Okay. Fine, because you're buying them the sex toys. I'll chip in with that, and I'll also, Ryan, because you said it, I'll buy you the pool because you deserve relaxation.
I appreciate that. You can come over and use the hot tub. We'll get into it together.
Ooh. Adam?
I'm all about business, man. So I got to get Jen that gym bag, man. We got to pile up these clients. We got to pile up that money.
I love it. I love it. This is what family is all about, people. Right? Jen, you said you had no family? Well, here it is.
Yeah.
Everybody looking out for you. Big brother Adam, always looking to find different ways to advance your career, so to
Yes.
speak.
I appreciate it. He's been in the industry for quite some time, as I understand.
For quite some time. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Table That Discussion. Big thanks to all of you for tuning in and watching. Big thanks to my entire panel here, Adam Rodas, Jen Piacenti, Ryan Hallam, and that adorable look at that put him, Justin Fensterman. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer, for always doing a bang-up job. Always appreciate all of that. Big thanks to everybody out there. This has been Table That Discussion. I'm Howard Bender of Fantasy Alarm. Catch you next time.